What's up, One Way? We're here still in Vegas, and today I'm going to talk about attacking the side control. I know we already spoke about that a little bit, but I want to go deeper into the submissions, into some of the stuff, and I think that's going to be beneficial for your game and for your jiu-jitsu, especially with the gi on. And I'm going to show you a trick or two that I do without the gi as well. So stay tuned for the side control attacks. So one of the things that I try to do is to avoid the frames, right? We already spoke about side control over here. So let's go into fighting their frames, right? One thing that I've been doing a lot, again, thinking about MMA, thinking about control, thinking about finishing the fight, I don't want to deal with frames, especially if they're very, very strong and explosive, right? So anytime I get here, most of the times nowadays, I try to get under these elbow and shoulder, right? So I get my knee under there, but even if I cannot get it, I'll go here and keep this hand, instead of hugging the head, I'm gonna keep this hand over here. You know, so I'm gonna spread my knees apart in order to be lower with my hips. And now I'm gonna wait until they try to turn into me a little bit. They're gonna try to turn a little bit, right? So as long as I'm under his left arm, I'm okay. So I'm gonna walk towards the arm a little bit. That's one thing that I do. So then from there, I get my hand and I try to grab my own leg like this. Look, all I'm doing is to grab my leg like this. So I go here, but I'm gonna go under his neck. Look, I go under his neck and grab my leg. So from there, this alone is already a very good position to control them. I can even keep my other hand next to his hips. And now from there, it's gonna be very hard for them to escape. You know, just that alone. Especially if I grab their shin over here, I minimize their ability to bump into me, right? So now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start walking towards their arm to push their arm across their face. So I go here, but I don't go flat. I kinda drop into my right hip a little bit. So then my chest is a little too far from them, so I'm gonna get a little closer. Boom. So now I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. I'm putting my head on the other side and drop into my hip. So now look, from there, I'm gonna drop into my hip and I'm gonna keep pushing my hip against his arm. And it's gonna be very uncomfortable for them. So as I do this, most of the time they're gonna try to turn into me, right? So as soon as I do this, look, I already have this anaconda set up here. So as soon as I do this, I collapse into my shoulder, and then I start walking forward. Perdão, tá machucando teu braço?
Não vai.
So I go here, look, and now I walk forward, and then I squeeze a little bit. As soon as I do this, most of the times they already tap, because most of the times they don't know what's going on. They don't know what just happened. So again, I'm here. So it's key to keep your knees apart over here. You know, you don't want to be very high, so you spread your knees apart. So then look, grab my own leg. So from there, I keep following their hips. I keep following their arms. So I go here, go here, go here. If I stay here, I can pretty much finish from here. But they are free to turn that way, and they will. So look, control over here, squeeze. If they don't tap, you can collapse into your shoulder, walk forward. Most of the times, they tap. There is a similar position that I do from the head and arm. If you do the head and arm, you're gonna find this very useful. I learned this a few years ago and that changed my whole game. A lot of people have been doing this. It's very, very nice. It works a lot, especially if you have long arms. JJ is gonna do this much better than me, but I still managed to get it, you know. So go in your back, please. So I'll do the head up. So it's very similar to this position right here, because you're gonna wait for a reaction, right? So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna be on the head and arm. Let's say we're over here, we're about to lose this side control, or we just passed like this. So I'm gonna go here, head and arm. Chega pouquinho pra trás aqui, mano, porque tá fora. Yeah, so we go for this head and arm, right? Key things for the head and arm that I find very useful. And if I don't get it, most of the times I lose the position. I like to keep my elbow on the ground. So this is one thing that it sounds silly, but a lot of people when they're going for the head and arm, they go from here, and when people bump into them, they lose their balance, right? So I go into my elbow right there. So now if he bumps that way, my elbow is there to hold me, and I find this very good. So then what I'm gonna do is to slide all the way closer to his armpit. If I'm closer to his elbow, I feel that I don't have the right angle. So I'm gonna slide myself closer to his armpit. So then from there, that's when I control my hand, you know, and then I go low, push my shoulder to their jaw, look to them, start walking to get the finish, right? But that's not what I'm trying to teach you. What I'm trying to show you is that when they're strong enough to turn, they're gonna bump and turn away. Right. And sometimes we fight here too much. We fight too much to get them flat on their back again, right? But you don't have to. So as soon as you're here, look, you pull your hand, and instead of just keep fighting over here, I'm just gonna open my elbow like this. So I'm over here, they turning, so I'm gonna go here, look. And I grab my own elbow like this. So now from there, I just walk closer to them and squeeze. You know, so this is a very effective, very good technique. So I'm gonna be here, they walk, they turn, I go here, look, boom, 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 boom. You know, so these are two easy chokes that I do from side control, from these positions, you know. I mean, actually three, because we did the head and arm too. But the head and arm, I wanted to show you the variation from the head and arm, and I wanted to show you this thing that I do setting up for the anaconda, or the darts. I don't know which is which, to be honest, because in Brazil, we all learn everything as in one name. But when we get here, things got multiple names, which is the right thing, because it's easier for people to understand. So that's that for the video of the week, and I see you soon. Peace.